Hi, I'm Joey Phillips, and today I'll be talking about my 2023 construction surveying internship. The company I was with was DLZ Corporation. DLZ is an architectural, engineering, and surveying consulting firm. I was located in Burns Harbor, Indiana. I was a part of the construction surveying department. As surveyors, we worked on a bunch of different projects at once. But the main project I worked on throughout the summer was the Pulaski-Stark County solar panel installation. This project was a partnership between Indiana and Israeli-based Doral Renewables LLC. It is expected to bring roughly $1.5 billion investment into the state over the next 5 years. This is the largest solar panel installation in the country right now. It's been commonly referred as the mammoth solar panel installation. It's 13,000 acres wide, which is roughly 1,000 times the size of Lucas Oil Stadium. We were doing multiple stuff for this project. One of the main things I was responsible with doing was we were silt fencing around all 13,000 acres of the fields. So we had to create these silt fence points in CAD and send over a copy so the silt fencing team can silt fence around all these fields. This took a long time, as you can tell, because 13,000 acres is a lot to silt fence. And then I also did some other projects working with hydro surveying, did a lot with CAD calculations, QCing people's work, making sure everything was accurate and correct. And then I also did a lot of recording files for the project managers in Excel. Some of my tasks. This is a picture of calculating points in CAD. I did a lot of CAD calculations. I would go through for column lines and calculate where these column lines would be laid out. I would also do anchor bolt calculations. I know some buildings would have at least 60 anchor bolts going up and down that I would have to calculate in there and get the exact coordinates, the northing, easting, and the elevation of these. And I would also, as I said before, I would calculate where these silt fence points, the anchor points, were going as well. We also did calculations for road curbs and just a bunch of other stuff. It was a lot of different little jobs that we were doing calculations in CAD with. Here is a tin model. This was the main thing I did over the summer with the solar panel installation. We also were responsible for the topography shots of all the fields. So what we did to get those was we took a 4x4 Kubota and we would drive up and down the field and use continuous topo to shoot the elevation shots at every 50 feet of these. Then this would generate a point every 50 feet in all the fields, which as you can see, it's a lot of points. So then what I would do is after we would shoot these, we would send them into the office, and I would go into the office and I would upload these into a surface model using Civil 3D, which is a secondary form of AutoCAD. And once I got these in to the surface model, I could use the tin, which is triangulating, to triangulate these points across the elevations. And once getting these tin models, I could adjust the contour lines to make sure they're following the exact elevations. And once you get that, you could create a surface model heat contour map, which you can see here, which is the heat contour map. And this basically just shows, using the heat map, the different elevations across the whole field. Here is a road design and profile. I did a lot of different stuff with roads, just looking at the substructures beneath them and quality checking that the roads were proper size, length, and width, and just making sure all the road structures were there, the substructures were there, and just making sure everything was correct. My biggest triumph. This was definitely the solar panel project. Over the whole summer, I became very proficient in Civil 3D/AutoCAD. While doing this, I learned how to communicate with the field workers. I watched the project manager, call them every day, make sure they knew what was getting done, And whenever there was an issue, we would call them and consult them about it. Eventually, the project manager just let me take over this part of the project. So I was calling them in the morning to see what fields were getting continuous topo shots done, when everything was getting sent in, and what deadlines it needed to be done by. So we were following a strict schedule, and I made sure that everything was getting done in time, and I was getting the work I needed to get my work done in time. I was also presented a lot of different challenges while doing this. I was very fresh with AutoCAD and Civil 3D, so I've never used this before, and learning how to use the software was very challenging. But every day, there was a new challenge that I would have to find and use problem-solving skills to work through. This really gained my problem-solving skills, and I feel like I've grown a lot in that area from this internship. My biggest challenge, as I just mentioned, I think it was being an experience. I've never used AutoCAD before, so learning all this was a huge learning curve for me. It was very difficult, but consulting all the other workers there, I was able to get all my stuff done, and I learned a lot from it. I also had previous residential construction, so I thought going in I would know some things, but I knew zero. I didn't know anything because all the new surveying terminology was completely new. There's completely new equipment you're using, and everything's a fresh start. Some of my lessons learned. Communication is key. All these projects have a specific deadline and have to meet these deadlines or you're going to cost the company money. Also, if something's inaccurate, you could cost the company a lot of money. There's one case where I saw one company messed up the building by 4 feet, and it wasn't the surveying fault, but it was the building fault. So it would have been like an $80,000 cost to fix if it was our responsibility. Luckily, that's why we do quality checks and we make sure everything is right. And it's very important to communicate with your workers to make sure everything's getting done. My second lesson learned was accuracy is crucial. As I just stated, it's very important to get all this done. And the third one is take advantage of your resources and don't be scared to ask dumb questions. All three of these are surveying equipment that I've never seen before. I was scared to ask questions, but I learned quickly when asking these questions is when you learn the most, and it's never a dumb question. Final thoughts. I really enjoyed my internship because I gained professional knowledge and skills. I learned it takes time to learn everything and to always work my hardest to complete these tasks. I also learned more about different construction industries, and now I know that I'm very excited to pursue an internship in a different field of construction. Thank you.